Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to a weird game review. I don't know what to call this. It's a black pudding heavy helping. It's actually a compilation of the first 4 issues of the Black Pudding magazine, and a good friend of mine, Bear, the Gen X GM, turned me on to this last week or the week before, and I managed to get it from someone here in California, and it's really a lot of fun. It's you know, he knows I like gonzo, goofy, crazy, wild game material, and this is just chock full of that and then some. It's got, right off the bat, it's got like half a dozen crazy, let me get to one of the crazier character sheets. Just like there was one, this one right here is, you know, the good old statue from the player's handbook, and then this one up here is actually a map, and all your stats and things like that are in different continents and islands and things like that. And there's more in this sort of style. Who was the artist again? Matt Hildebrand and Carl St. Jernberg. I've never heard of these people, but there is just a ton of crazy gonzo stuff in here. Now, I believe most of this is intended to go along with BX or Labyrinth Lord. That's what I inferred from having read this. Right off the bat, it starts with a couple of character classes. The Barbara Bunny, and then the Black Knight. All of this is very much tongue-in-cheek and meant to be, you know, not taken too seriously, but with a little tweaking and toning down the cornball goofiness level down to about 7 or maybe 6. You can actually get some really great ideas for various games, and I'm going to actually be stealing a lot of stuff from this one. I'm really surprised how much it meshed with my own, you know, tastes. Then you've got the blind girl and the cat girl. The blind girl is blind guard is your typical like holy temple guardian with some special abilities that include being able to see even though the eyes don't work. The cat girl, it's all right there in the title. The chainmail chick, just a joke stab at Red Sonja. The elementarian, Genius Elficus Cerebricus, a puzzle solver with minimal spell abilities. Kind of annoying, to be honest. The Face Savage, half barbarian, half elf, also kind of annoying. The Goblin, but you know, some people would probably really dig these things. The Jungle Lord, sort of D&D Tarzan with canopy acrobatics and jungle friends. The Keeper is kind of an elven archer of the woods. The Luchador, if you wanted to run a less serious monk, you got that. The Medusa and the Moldwarp. The Moldwarp is like a weasel or a ferret or a mole, something that digs underground, and the Medusa is just what you think, except she has control over turning people to stone. Unfortunately, this particular Medusa character class, if you're not careful, you basically hand your character sheet over to the GM because you're now a monster. The Ravenheart reminds me very much of the character Raven from the Teen Titans, which I'm going to have to say that's almost exactly what you're running, but a little bit more edgelordy, goth. A spellcaster of sorts, can cast up to 6 level spells, and has all kinds of, play with the dead, Blackheart, Ravenclaw, gloom and shadow abilities. Then there's the Shield Maiden, which, your typical Viking lass who has extra defensive powers as long as she has her shield. The Sinewy Barbarian, kind of goofy. Then there's the Star Wizard, sort of a cleric who worships a star and gets their powers from the stars. Kind of interesting, kind of very much reminiscent of The Dying Earth by Jack Vance. I got that feel from it. The Summoner is kind of like a Magic the Gathering magic user that summons creatures to do its bidding. The Sword Slinger, as long as they have 2 swords, they're good to go. The Werewolf Hunter, kind of self-explanatory. Their version of the Witch that it can also cast up to 5th level spells, create potions, stuff like that. I'd rather honestly use some of the old things out of the old Dragon magazine. Then there's a short chapter on magic weapons and magic tomes, which I thought were actually, some of them were actually pretty interesting. And then there's the Black Bestiary, the Binoculin, the Bodunk, the Hag's Husband, which I thought was actually kind of hysterical. It's a golem for witches. The Sezezin Chaos Serpent, 18 hit dice. Probably a little too powerful for most character parties even. The Orc War Tank Trainer, the Mangu, the Gazog. Some other interesting monsters that I don't want to reveal too much because they're going to show up in one or more of my upcoming adventures. Then there's the this is probably my favorite chapter, the Meat Shields of the Bleeding, which is a rogues gallery of NPC warriors and other character types from the book. And again, some of these I'm going to steal or take inspiration from, but there's just page after page of NPCs that you could just drop in whenever the party needs a mercenary warrior or a thief. Then there are several one-page dungeons. Everything you need to know is on one page. There's even the monsters and the wandering monster tables and things like that. And again, I don't want to reveal too much because at least one of them I'm going to borrow almost verbatim. It's a one-page mini dungeon that it's like that's all I need. There's a couple in here that are actually more than one pager, but very interesting, very charming artwork in some cases. Other cases it's kind of mediocre, but it's got its own, like I said, style to it, and it's very much like got that indie feel, that late 80s indie sort of, when you would get those flyers for bands, they're going to play at this club or that club or such, and the artwork is very reminiscent of that. And I picked this one up for all of, I want to say about $25. I'm going to give you a couple of, these are a couple of the covers from the magazines that this actually is a compilation of, so you get a little better idea of the artwork. But if you're looking for some goofy, unexpected things to drop into your game, to change the tone of the game, or get you closer to that sort of gonzo Dying Earth feel to it, this is definitely the book for you. And there is a volume 2, but unfortunately I can only find it in the UK, which is probably where this comes from to begin with. But the shipping is just, in some cases, just too much to pay for a book. I know there'll be a copy somewhere in the States at some time in the near future. I'll keep looking, and if not, I'll just grab the individual issues. I'm going to go and look for the website, if there is one, and see if there's more being produced, or if they just did the like 8 issues and then, you know, hang it up. But if you guys know any more about this, you know, be sure to leave me some info in the comment section below. Bear, thanks for turning me on to this, because I literally laughed out loud more than a couple of times reading this, and I hope my players get a kick out of it, but I also hope my players don't grab a copy of this anytime soon. And if they do, you know, I'm still going to change stuff to make it interesting, because it's definitely all that in a bag of chips. And that's what I got for you this morning. Of course, I'll be back in about 15 minutes with another video for you for your 2 for Tuesday. Hope you guys are enjoying your holiday spirit, whatever that may be this time of year, and are having a great week, because it's just begun. And I am going to go record the next video. So I will see you guys all in the funny papers.